So got some breaking news here, Chad, that Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Democrats, the House Democrats, just voted yes. He's a yes on honoring Charlie Kirk, and AOC just voted no. So there is the divide right there within the Democratic Party on a resolution that really should be bringing everyone together. Thank you, Chad Pergram, live on the Hill for us with that breaking news. Let's bring in Shannon Bream now. Give us your take on, this is a resolution that is very simple.
On this vote,
very easy to understand, and there it is. It's final now. Let's listen in.
Voting present are 38. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
There it is. It has passed in the House, this resolution to honor Charlie Kirk. Shannon, your takeaway on this divide we're looking at right now on the House floor, where Democrats couldn't move themselves to vote yes on this.
Well, and you've got several of them out there that are publicly saying that they think of Charlie's legacy as something much different than Republicans do. We talked about this with the speaker on Fox News Sunday, and some comments from Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who has said, you want to call people's bleep out on this. They're trying to rewrite his legacy and calling him a hateful person. Republicans will say, go watch his clips, the things he's being accused of, racism and bigotry and these other things. You'll see that melt away if you watch the conversations he had with people. They were uncomfortable, they were difficult, but he was laughing, he would hug people. They feel like he's been mischaracterized, and so for that respect, they say this is a resolution that everyone should be able to vote for. But you mentioned some of the key players like AOC, for example. We talked earlier about her potentially running in 28 or running for the Senate or running for the White House. So the party very much has to decide what it is moving forward. Is it more progressive? Is it more moderate? Is it establishment? I mean, this vote would suggest that there's really not a lot of common ground.
Yeah, Shannon, to yours and Aisha's point, I mean, this was a very simple resolution. It's just to honor the life of a man who was assassinated. There's no strings attached here, yet you had 58 Democrats vote no against it, just to simply honor the life of a man who was killed on camera in front of the whole country to see. What does that say about where we are right now?
Yeah, again, just so divided, because if you'll look in the way that they see his legacy, the way they want him portrayed, they don't want him to be honored, viewed as a martyr, viewed as somebody whose conversations were even worthy of basic respect. I mean, he wanted to go into the difficult places. It's what he did. It's what he specialized in, was talking to people that saw things in a very different way than he did. And so for Democrats, though, that want to continue to say that his was a vitriolic, negative voice in the atmosphere, they don't want to be shown as lending any support or any credence to who he was as a person or to the mission of Turning Point. So again, for a lot of folks, I think it's been eye-opening when you see people go back and actually watch his exchanges and interchanges with people about issues of race, of sexuality, of those kinds of things. Some people express surprise that it is not the Charlie Kirk they were told it was. And, for some folks, they're going to see him one way, and that's not going to change, and that's what led to their vote today.
It's been astonishing to watch the Hill change over the last 4 years that I've been covering it, and it's gotten progressively worse and worse, the tensions between the Dems and the Republicans, but even, I would say, inside the Democratic Party, the divisions and the breaking points that we're seeing come out in moments like this. And it's been very sad, I think, and you realize why so many people out there have such a low opinion of Congress and Capitol Hill. Shannon, thanks for joining us. Want to bring in House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who was just on the House floor as Republicans passed this continuing resolution to fund the government. That would have been the big headline, Majority Leader. But I want to actually ask you about what you all just passed, which is this resolution to honor Charlie Kirk. It wasn't that long ago that you were nearly assassinated. And that was a really tough moment for this country, but we saw people come together. And this is a very different moment here that we're watching, where it's been, for some reason, difficult for people on the left to just honor someone who passed away in a horrible manner.
Yeah, it's a shame that that's where their party has moved. It's not where America is. I mean, my gosh, we've seen such an outpouring of love for Charlie, what he represented, the idea that we should be able to debate freely even when we disagree, and do it in a civil way. And that's what Charlie did, and it's what he represented. It's why you're seeing millions of people that maybe never heard of him thinking about things differently. But, you know, what happened on the House floor, those members who voted no, I thought it was disgraceful. I mean, just paying tribute, paying honor to his life, that was taken away by an assassin. You know, that's something they've got to answer, not me.
And Congressman Aisha made this point just a few moments ago that back in June, the House voted unanimously to condemn the murders of Melissa and Mark Hortman in Minnesota. Again, it was a unanimous vote. Republicans were on board for that. Everyone was on the same page in terms of saying that was horrible. But here we are, 58 Democrats won't do the same for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, let alone the ones that voted present. I mean, what a profile and courage that is. I mean, no reason. It should have been unanimous. You know, at least it surely was on our side. And there were a lot of Democrats that voted yes. The ones that voted no, I mean, you know, open up your heart and just think about Erica and those kids and, you know, the millions of people who are heartbroken over Charlie's loss. And look, this movement's not going to go away. Charlie started a movement, but this movement's only going to grow. You can see over 50,000 young people have reached out to Turning Point and said they want to start their own Turning Point chapter on colleges or high school campuses. That's a sign that they have woken a sleeping giant.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.